So this past couple of days I got to play with the new Sony A7IV, but would I buy it? Okay, so to put it into context, I'd been asked by Sony to present for them at one leg of the Sony A7IV Roadshow, which was spread over 2 days in Chepstow, and it was for retailers and the general public to come along to get a hands-on and also to see some demos. I'd been asked to do a 15-minute segment in each of the sessions throughout the day, basically to highlight the things that I'd noticed and really liked about the camera. Bearing in mind though, I'd only got hold of the camera the day before the roadshow started. Now, I'd actually got a friend of mine called Graham Curry to come along and model for me. Not the usual kind of character I'd have in front of my camera, but to be perfectly honest, I don't do all of the kind of stuff that you'd kind of expect to see at photography shows and demonstrations. I wanted to have something that was a bit more colourful, a bit more vibrant, and a bit more of a character, and a bit more memorable. So that's why Graham came along playing the part of the Joker. Now, there's a ton of videos going through kind of the specs and full reviews of this camera. That's not the idea of this video. I just want to kind of highlight to you, as a Sony user that's brought all of his Sony kit with his own money, I want to kind of just highlight the things that I've noticed about this new camera. Now, there were some things that really stood out, and I've kind of highlighted those in certain sections. I've made my notes, and these are the things that I just want to cover in this short video. So we've got the feel of the camera, the eye focus, the tracking, the quality of the stills, the video, and I guess most importantly of all, would I buy it? Oh, so just to clarify, this is not a sponsored video, so I've not been asked or I've not been paid in any way by Sony or a Sony retailer to do this video.
Alpha.
So as I understand it then from speaking to the folks from Sony during the roadshow and getting hands on, this camera is very much a kind of like a hybrid between the Sony A1 and the Sony A7S3, which is the one that's just fabulous for video. This one kind of takes good bits, the very good bits from both of those cameras to make this one particular camera. But going into the really geeky side of things, first of all, the feel of it. That's really important, how a camera feels in your hands. This one, if you've held the Sony A7S3, it's pretty much the same kind of body. So you've got that much deeper recess on the actual grip there. And I love that because the kind of way that I tend to hold my camera when I'm walking around is by that grip. So if I know my fingers feel much deeper in there, feels much more secure, that's better. But also the design of the body. You've got all the bells and whistles on the outside, making everything much more accessible. One of the things especially is the fact that you've got a much bigger record button rather than that tiny little button on the back of the camera, as I have on my Sony A7IV. But also now you've got this rotation dial where you can very quickly jump from stills into video. And that proved really handy when we were doing the demonstration, when I was showing the tracking with video and then going over to take the portrait of Graham. Alright, so what I'm going to do here then is link in both the eye focus and the tracking, because they do kind of overlap and with one comes the other. I had intended to record the back of my back of the camera into my computer, but I forgot to press record, so you're just going to have to trust me and look at some of the behind the scenes footage to kind of get an idea of what I mean. But what I will say about this is, if you're an A7 III user looking to upgrade, or if you're just like an A7R4 user like me, or any other camera in the range, to be honest with you, this is where you're going to really notice the difference, because this locking onto the eye was crazy fast. I think on paper they say it's something like 30% faster than the A7 III for now getting the focus and tracking the eye and what have you. Just really, really clever stuff. I mean, I had Graham in front of me. I was hands off the camera. And the camera was in stills mode, and obviously then you get that white square kind of tracking him, making sort of saying like, I know there's a person there. But the moment that you half depress the shutter, bang, it's straight onto the eye. And there was no delay. It was straight on it. I got Graham to turn his head left and right, and obviously it jumped from one eye to the other, whichever the one it found the easiest and quickest to kind of lock onto. But what was really interesting was that you got Graham to kind of turned to profile, and he went round and round and round, almost to the point of hearing a click on his neck, and it was still able to get the eye in focus. At one point I asked him to cover his face with his hands, and then obviously the camera couldn't see that the eye was visible, it couldn't see a face, but it did lock onto him with all those tracking points as well. And the minute you did see an eye, it was instant. I mean, I was saying to Mark from Sony that it's as quick as I can see it, but to be honest with you, it was probably even quicker. Got Graham to spin around as well, and sure enough, as soon as he was back into the camera's kind of view there, straight onto the eye. So really, really clever stuff. Now, this is also as good as well in the animal eye focus and the bird eye focus as well, because Mark brought along some models of like a squirrel and some different birds, and exactly the same thing worked on them, which was just so clever. I actually also brought my drone along to see if it would be able to track the drone as if it was like a bird in flight, and yeah, sure enough, no problem tracking it whatsoever. And in fact, at one point when the drone was kind of facing forward towards us, it actually locked onto the camera at the front, thinking it was an eye. So, and actually, talking of the tracking, now that they say you've got 94% coverage of the sensor, so I was actually getting Graham to go right to the edge of the frame there, and it was still able to pick him up. So you're getting a lot more kind of available workspace there, and a lot more of your screen where you know that if you need it to be in focus and to be locked on, it'll be able to lock on. So yeah, very, very impressive. Now, this is a bit of a funny one, really, because the cameras that we had available, which were the 5 only ones in the whole of the UK, they're all pre-release models. And because of that, there's no RAW converter software available, so I was having to shoot in JPEG. But that being said, crazy sharp. I mean, everybody that came along, I was shooting tethered into a large, I don't know, 60+ inch screen, and everybody was kind of commenting about how much detail there were. I even said to the folks there that I honestly believe that had I been an attendee, not knowing anything about this camera whatsoever, and that picture that I'd taken had been enlarged to 300% like it was on the screen when I walked in, and if I'd have been told it was from my A7R4 and something like my 85mm G Master lens, I would have 100% believed you. It is that sharp. Incredible detail. So it'll be really interesting going forward to be able to get hold of RAW files to see what they're like and how I can process those. But yeah, JPEG, very, very impressive. Now, I have been fortunate enough to be lent an A7S3 in the past to do some filming, and absolutely loved it. I mean, straight out of the camera, it just looked cinematic. So when I'm told that the video capabilities are pretty much similar to that in the A7S3 being brought over into this A7 IV, then I just know this is going to be good. So yeah, 10-bit 422, and what I really love is the fact that it's also got the S Cinetone picture profile in there. So straight out of the camera, great footage, beautiful colours, looking graded. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Now, obviously, the camera being 2021, it can film in 4K 60, or in my case, because I'm in the UK, I use PAL, so 4K 50, half kind of like normal speed, if you like, slow-mo. And because of that, the camera is kind of set that it has to do a 1.5 crop. Now, that's not a deal breaker, but it's just something that you need to bear in mind. But the footage itself, you've got this enhanced kind of stabilization, 5-axis stabilization built into there as well. So if you start doing some footage with that turned on, and you bring it into places like Premiere and use the warp stabilizer, you're going to get some rock steady kind of footage there that could pretty much look like it's come from a gimbal, even though you've just held the camera in your hand. So yeah, great video as well. So with all this being said, it begs the question, would I buy it? And my answer is 100% yes. But will I buy it? And for that, I've got to say no. But let me explain. You see, I am really happy at the moment with my stills camera, my Sony A7R4. It does everything I ask of it, and it gives me the results that I want. Nice and sharp, 100% rely on that camera. Now, if I was looking to upgrade my video side of things, and I wanted a more dedicated camera just for doing the video, then I would go to the A7S3. I've used it and absolutely love it. And I'm only talking about the way that I work here, obviously. The A7S3 for me would give me future proof. It would allow me to shoot in things like 4K 60 or my equivalent being PAL. It would also allow me to shoot in 4K 120, but with no crop. But, you know, if money was no object, which we know it isn't, but if money was no object, would I get it if I was going to go for travel? Then yeah, I would. You know, if I wanted something that was like a catch-all, a one-stop shop, if you like, for both photography and video, the A7IV for me would be fantastic for travel. But I can't really justify it, especially when I've just put an order in for a new MacBook Pro M1 Max 64 gig with 2 terabytes. But I would 100% recommend this camera. It is a great piece of kit. It was an absolute pleasure to shoot with it over the last few days. The results, both in video and the stills, the tracking, the eye focus is just blisteringly fast. It's a really, really good camera. So I just want to say thank you to Sony for the opportunity to get hands on something when there's only 5 of them in the country. It was a real privilege to get hold of it before it's released. And also a huge thank you to my friend Graham for being the Joker. I hope that this video has in some way been helpful if you are looking to upgrade.